Brief little stream, ain't gonna go long. Y'all know the drill, man, cause food's almost done. So I ain't gonna go long. But show support, man. Hit that follow button. Same spot where we was. We doing King's Gambit though. Triss romance. Those you play the game, you know how it go. We gotta choose who's gonna be ruler. Skeleton between Ceres or a brother. We obviously going Ceres. But yeah, show love, man. Hit that follow button, shop it around. It ain't gonna be long. Like I said, food almost done, and also I'm still reeling from just the absolute ass whooping UConn just gave South Carolina in the national championship game, women's basketball, of course. That was, man, that was, I don't know what to say. That was, Jesus Christ. But yeah, show love, man. Shop it around to your TikToks,
Are you mad?
your blue skies, and your Twitters, man. Come rock with the kid that did.
Learn all you want. Meantime,
Make sure y'all follow the channel.
Hey, the Jarls aren't listening anymore. Stop playing the hero and think for a second.
Our honor's at stake, sis. I can't wait.
Are you listening to me? Someone let those bears in. We must know who, and the answer lies somewhere in this room.
You're right, Ceres. I'll help you.
Thanks.
Fine. See you when I return with the traitors' heads.
I'll stay here. Someone must see to everything. Summon the healer, hand the fallen over to their families. Wolf, I thank you.
Ever see anything like that?
No, and I hope I never will again.
Where'd the bears come from? We were all laughing, eating, drinking. Suddenly, a massacre. Torrents of blood on the walls.
What happened before the massacre? Be precise.
Young Lucas bet he could empty a barrel of beer in one go. He climbed on the table, grabbed a pony keg of centering wheat, and started chugging. His throat bulged like a blowfish. Face went red, but he kept drinking. Folks started banging their tankers on the table, shouted. Then, from the other side of the room, we turned in unison as if a coxswain had called.
Yeah,
We were there. They were already there.
that game was, oh my God, that was, Jesus Christ. Don Staley got a clean house, man. Keith Wiley, Keith Johnson, but defensively and perimeter wise, she got a clean house. Props to Paige, AZ, and Gino now, man. 2025 national champions, man. Women's college basketball. Props to Paige and them. Yeah, Coach Staley got to make some adjustments for next year, man. Yeah, brief little stream before dinner. Y'all know the drill, man. I was gonna come on. We was gonna talk about the books and my issues with them and why I prefer the games and the aspects I do. But like I said, dinner might be done at any minute, so it ain't gonna be no long stream. So we just had to hit back up with y'all on that conversation next stream. And like I said, this ain't me just shitting on the books and shitting on Sapkowski as a writer. I'm not a fan of him at all. I'm gonna be real. But you know, when we get to that conversation, I'm gonna make my points known. Yeah, just support the channel, man. Hit that follow button. Same old. Yeah, that game was, Jesus Christ, Jesus, just absolute.
Fang marks.
Molly wiping ain't even a word. UConn was all they beat the dog out of. I almost felt like I was out there, man. I don't even know what to say, man. That game was. Damn, man. That's all I can say is damn. Man. All love to Coach Staley in South Carolina, though. Still rocking with him. Me personally, but I expect a lot of people to change up. Expect the what's the word I'm looking for? Expect the narrative to change. Expect people to say Don Staley was never a talented coach. Expect all them to come out the woodwork. You know how it's gonna go. Don't get it twisted. Don Staley is still the best, if not one of the best coaches in women's collegiate basketball. Easy. But UConn just came to play, man. They full healthy team too. They was about their business.
Bodies
Props
massacred.
to them.
Hard to tell who it is. Stingrim, maybe?
Yeah, hit that follow button to show love, man. Like I said, I'm
Right.
gonna cover the books and why I don't really rock with them.
Old
You know what I'm
Scott.
saying? And more in depth when we got
Bit.
more
Mouth
time. You know what I'm saying?
Bears
But yeah,
like.
I just wasn't a fan of how he wrote the women. How a lot of the women are one dimensional, save Yennefer, Ciri, and Philippa to a point, and Nneka if we want to count her. But
Something
a lot of one dimensional women. The humor, and again, it might
half
be because
man,
I'm not
half
Polish, but the humor just didn't
elf.
land for me. The humor
Me.
didn't hit. I mean, there's a whole passage in Season of Storms, sorry, where old boy
All the
come across
homes are
this
empty.
mercenary band and nothing but women, and the whole passage is just them passing gas and cussing. Like that's not funny. That's not engaging.
Gold at
That's
each
not
table. Mead in this
like
one.
what was I supposed to take from that scene? The whole
No
book
holy
was
mead.
a slog, though. It was one big fetch quest for swords. But that scene in particular, like, what am I supposed to take from that? Is it supposed to be funny? What, how dare women be warriors? Or haha, like I don't get what he was trying to say with none of that. Like I said, some short stories do stand out. A Question of Price is a really good one. Uh, what is it? Lesser Evil, I think it is. That's great as well. But he just he's just not the talent his
Bertie
fans would
sent
want
from the
people to
bear's
think he
maw.
is. And it's like if you grew up with it,
Something
fair enough. If
towards
that was your first
mushrooms.
exposure to the
Both
world and
empty.
it
But the scent's
really
in the
left an
air.
imprint on you, that's
Come
what's
from
it's gonna be what it
Darkfire.
is. You know what I'm saying? Like with
Skulls
people with
plaguing this
Ballads of
room.
Songbirds and Snakes or Sunrise on the Reaping. You know, you don't have to be a fan of one to like the other, or be a fan of one and like the other, or you could dislike both of them compared to the main series, or not like the main series and like those. You know, it is what it is. It's different perspectives, but I just feel like a lot better could have been done with the women in particular. Yen's whole thing of wanting to be essentially pregnant and a mother, so that's why Siri exists at the end of the day.
Here. Mead spiked with some kind of
Ah,
mushroom.
just
And human blood.
he does write politics very
Ceres,
well
come
in
here.
fantasy. I will give him that. The political
A
landscape
guard
is very
saw what
interesting. It
happened.
was engaging
Those were
most of the time. There's some
bears.
hiccups here and
They were.
there,
Men who transform into bears.
but overall, it was
Was
engaging
that
seeing the
Triss?
different dichotomies between the sorceresses and the male wizards, and just the different sides of the fence, and each have different goals and morals and where they wanted to go for their respective colleges.
Think I know.
But Siri being at
Mead
the
spiked.
epicenter of
Bart might help us.
every
Can't hurt to
conflict
try.
is a bit weak. I would argue, for me personally, from my experience, that was a bit weak. And Siri's whole bisexuality, while I almost want to applaud him for doing it and sticking to her being bisexual, I can't, just because it was just poorly done. It was just poorly done. Now he has
Freyr or a mother. May this. Mind if I interrupt?
more, well, not
Already
more
have.
rep. There's more
Someone
rep in the Song
spiked
of
one
Ice
to
and
me.
Fire,
Give me the
but
horn.
his is more out there, whereas the Song of Ice and Fire is just straight up implied because it's Ciri and Philippa. But then it comes, why are Ciri and Philippa the only non-straight characters in this whole series?
Mardrome.
Of what, 4 main books, 5 main books, 2 short stories? Why are they the only 2 non-straight characters in this whole thing? You know what I'm saying?
Mardrome really.
Aye.
Everybody being white
Warriors
is
will be
one
Only
thing,
a
but again,
legend.
I'm not Polish. I don't know if there's black people in Poland.
Sarah's what.
I
Never
do.
been. I can't.
Udalric suffer.
But he's done.
It's
That one don't bother me. To say everybody being white, save for Dorne and the Song of Ice and Fire, and one of the southern cities, safe in the Song of Ice and Fire, because that was he took heavy influence from medieval England, and
Mardrome.
even not.
All right.
Udalric.
Yes.
some of the steps
Blood
and
and mud.
Maybe.
You're right.
various
Might have. Come
cultures
on. We could find some
IRL.
clues there.
So he doesn't really have an excuse for. Neither one does for real, but this being Polish fantasy, you could argue somebody could fall back and be like, well, we don't have any records of people of color in
We
our
must
country
find the traitors quickly.
in the time
Elsewise,
period
the
of
warriors will take
when
matters
he
into
set
their
this
own hands.
series.
Castle's a buzz
But again,
already.
I don't know.
Think they'd attack
Come
Croc
back to
openly?
it.
My
A lot of the
father or
women
each
just
other.
feel like
All the
cardboard
finest
cutouts.
Skellige tradition. Haven't had a good
They essentially exist just to Geralt, Saber,
civil war in
obviously,
ages.
Ciri. He has some good ideas here and there. And again, the political machinations are very interesting to read. But overall, it's fantasy from the 90s, like to a T. I'd argue The Witcher 1 is
Knew there'd be trouble.
the best example of
Too calm.
the books
Funny. Arnvold
in
said the
all of the
same.
worst ways. Like it's
For
all of
feast to be
the
any good,
it's all
mead's
of the
gotta
chinks
flow,
in the armor.
but
It's
so
all
does
the
blood.
it's all the
I'd say he
flaws
got his
first. You know what I'm
wish.
saying? Like when I first got into the series, commenter was like, "Oh hey, you read the books, you'll see why you should choose Yennefer. You'll see why, Yennefer's testing who he should be. Oh, you should follow the canon, this, that, and the third." And I'm like, all right, I'm going to read the books. I'm going to give it a chance. Like I said, short stories stand out. The opening to Garrett as a character in the first short
I
story,
really
The
hope
Witcher,
Yarmar's doing something
that's
useful,
is
not just looking for a
phenomenal.
fight.
I will give dude
Relax.
that.
Your brother's
The
impetuous,
atmosphere,
not stupid.
the visuals, the scene in the bar, how he paints old boy coming up, how they first approach him, the demeanor, just painting the scene of Witchers in this world and how they got to navigate and how they maneuver. All that's fantastic. But then it immediately goes downhill
Poison at the cellar's other
when it's
end
bloated
down
into a
below.
full series.
Come, I'll show you.
There's creating fantasy worlds in a patriarchal society, like both him and old Georgie have done with their respective series, and they're not really working. And then there's doing that to where it's effective,
Hackerman
like with a
spirit.
Dragon Age, or
Someone
like
brewing
with
several
a
barrels of the finest.
Good thing Dad's got other worries in his
arguably
mind.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, arguably. To where this is not just a patriarchal society because the writer only knows how to write that, or the writer is clear their limitations. This is where they stand out because they're a dude or they're a woman, and this is just how they can best represent that.
What the?
It's just, I wanted much substance. I wanted the women to be more than just.
The barrels, but they're too heavy. We'll never move them.
Don't intend to. Quick.
Hardboiled cutouts, you feel me? I wanted more to the characters. And you got some side characters that are women that are fantastic. The two warrior women with old boy who turns out to be what he turns out to be.
There's a secret passage.
One rarely used, more like. When
Magic.
Yalmar and I were little,
A place of power.
Old girl, that's the archer that comes across Dandelion in his flute. The women in the forest, though, that's stereotypical as shit. They only use men to procreate and they keep them as slaves and all that. I feel like that could have been a little bit more original. But the initial concept was cool. The initial idea was cool. But I don't say this to color your opinion. You love the books, you love the books. You love the canon, and that's how you play the games. Let that be that.
Let's think.
But come 2027, I'm still here. I'm still rocking.
Maybe they'll have
And I still care to be here. And I'm getting Witcher 4. Depending on some factors. I don't care what they got to say about the canon. I don't care if they come out and be like, oh, nah, Geralt, again, that's the only way to do it. If you ain't play it like that, bump you. No, I'm a rock, I'm a rock.
Anyway,
but I wanted more from The Witcher. I wanted more from the books. The games do a lot of the heavy lifting with the world building and the lore and the characters and giving characters more fleshing out than they had in the books. And that speaks to his weakness of writing women. And I'd also argue his weakness of writing characters that he doesn't have a defined arc for. Like that clearly weren't as clear in his mind. That were just to get Geralt from point A to point B, or Yennefer from point A to point B, or Ciri from point A to point B. Again, back to Ciri's bisexuality. Everybody understands that she's bisexual. Book readers, game players, TV show watchers, we all understand this. But it's so
Did you ask for clearer
It's
prints?
badly done.
Sticky
It's
from
badly
me.
done. Because what goes down goes down, and then the next time you're back with her POV, they're just already a thing. There's no exploration of that type of damage, something a relationship like that could do mentally, in terms of not it being two women, but in terms of how it came about and how it started. There's no exploration of that. Arcane, for instance, with Jinx and Silco, that's a non-romantic example, but
Trail breaks off.
you see how
Need to
that's
find
an
out how
unhealthy
to
relationship
lie.
for her. You see how that's a relationship built off of
What's this?
lies, built
Piece
off
of cloth.
manipulation,
No.
built off
It
coercion,
can't be.
built
What
off
is it?
Silco
Armfal's
using
tunic?
her for his ends.
Only he wears this kind.
Because watch it
Sure
back.
about
Keep in
that?
mind, he was gonna get rid of her
Let's go.
until he realized, oh hey, she doesn't care if she's mad at her sister. She wants nothing to do with her sister. Her father, my not brother, but brother in a sense, is gone. This is my bargain chip that I'm never gonna bargain for. I do believe he was never gonna give her up. I believe him 100% when he says that. But you see how that's a stub relationship. That's not a loving
Grab a horse. We'll chase.
father adopted daughter type thing. You see how that's harmful, right? You see how that's
Ironbolt! Stop, damn it!
you see how that has layers that's not indicative of a loving relationship. Silco did not care about that girl in the way you would
Don't stand a
expect
chance.
an adopted parent to care about a child.
What now? Why do you betray them?
Sapkowski doesn't do that with Syrian
No
missile.
uncreate should ever sit on Skellige's
Because as soon as you get back to Syrian POV, boom, they just there's no exploration after that. There's no
needs stability.
steps to show you why Siri, other than her being alone. But you telling me, oh hey,
Never heard you voice that
she
I
fell
did.
for a girl
But I
because she
do
was
know
alone.
one who
That's
never
not how
stops saying
Stockholm
it.
syndrome works.
It's
That's not how that
Bernard
works.
Bran,
That's
isn't
not
it?
how
You were never a good liar, Arnvold.
that type of conditioning works. You gradually see it with Silco and Jinx and Arcane.
What was her motive?
Yeah, when we get back
She
to her
says-
at the end of episode 3 in season 1. When we hit episode 4,
Will that be?
It'll have
years have passed. She's older. Her hair's all down to her legs. Significant time has passed.
I've assembled
But
the
there are
Jarls in council
multiple
as you
scenes
demand
where
it,
you're like,
Saracen
okay, yeah,
Free.
this man is not
You
good
claim
for
to
her
know
mental
who's
health. This
behind the
man is
slaughter
just
at Ked's
exacerbating
Shoulder. Speak then. The blood of
a
Skellige's
very,
sons and
very
daughters.
traumatized
Whose hands
girl
does it stain?
and a mentally unstable girl. He's building on that and feeding
The
off
lass
of
is
that
mad.
by letting
Do you
her
think anyone will believe
indulge her
you? You had
impulses.
them serve
She has
poison meat to
no
berserkers.
restraint.
I
She
beg
has
your
no
pardon. The servants
she
of
has
Caer
no
Trolda are not mine to command. 'Twas your father who
word I'm
called
looking
for the
for.
feast, who assembled the guests.
She has nothing. There's no voice of
Have
reason.
you any proof
You know what I'm
to confirm
saying?
your accusation?
And
I've
when
better.
Five being where
I've a
she is for
witness.
what is it?
Arnvold.
7 years? 7 years? There's nothing keeping her from jumping off the edge. You see what I'm saying? Like people are like, oh, when season 2 drops, how quickly Caitlyn does what she does. Like no, it shows you subtly
That took you in.
that she was slowly being
He's a
disillusioned
servant to
with
uncreate.
Ambassador and
Alike.
Ambassador's
He will
motivations
say
and
what they
Ambassador's
command him to say.
means
He will
for
fight for them even
making
where
her the
he'll pay for it
commander of
with his
the
head.
commander of the city and of the army. And you see,
ever since I remember.
you don't see that with
Like a
Syrian
dog.
missile.
I can vouch
You
for
just
Sarah.
immediately in her
She's telling the
POV, and then
truth.
all of a sudden, boom.
Yet another
They're in love.
uncreate lackey. Did Ceres entice
It
you to
doesn't help
collaborate?
that that's the
I can
only
imagine
same-sex
how.
relationship she
On his
has in the
crack
whole
page to
story.
smear my name.
What did you
Every
say?
other thing after that
Calm
is her with
yourselves.
dudes.
After
Not
what I saw on
romantically, it's just her
Steeple
inner
Rock, I
thoughts,
trust the
but still.
Witcher more than I do you.
You've that right. But it's no proof
The
of my
game
guilt.
does slightly better about it, but it'll come up in another stream because, like I
Got
said,
one.
food almost done.
A letter. It'll lack but perfume. As the
But even the game treats it as a not throwaway, but you have to take the steps to even have her say, "Oh yeah, I prefer women."
We've but one path left to us.
And it's just it's better than what the books give you, because again, it's poor. I ain't trying to color nobody's viewpoint, but trust me, if you're going into it expecting Siri to be in your face bisexual
Silence, wanderer.
like a Nair from Dragon Age Fieldguard, or well, they're pansexual, but you know, like some Dragon Age rep, or like with Agatha all along with Agatha and Rio. If you're expecting that type of rep, you're not gonna get it.
Why did you do it?
It's not gonna happen. Or some other standout fantasy stories about lesbian authors and LGBT authors. You're not gonna get that. It's literally as soon as you get to her next POV, her missile is already a thing.
son who accuses his own mother.
Already. And you get some insight into her mindset, but it's not well conveyed, it's not well written, I would argue. From what I read.
Only for you.
And from how I viewed it. Again, I read it twice. I tried to give dude a chance.
As the eldest of the Jarls,
Philippa's sexuality. She's either bisexual or lesbian. I think she's lesbian in the books, bisexual in the game.
you will be chained to a rock,
I want to say.
perish of hunger and thirst.
But with her, it's all political machinations first, so you don't really get any delving into that. You don't really get that front and center. You don't really get any exploration into that, but we got to read page after page after page of Garrett having these meaningless flings with these women. But anyway, the pacing, again, each book slogs on a bit. Each book slogs. Blood of Veils, Lady of the Lake, which is the last one, Power of the Swallow, like they slog. You have a moment where it's interesting, and then it just meanders from page after page after page after page. The writing is hard.
But enough.
Every book is going to do that. But the talented writers can give you information and introduce to you characters and keep subplots going to where it don't feel like that. You don't feel like you're being pandered to. You don't feel like it's just plotting just to up the word count. But you can clearly see it with Sapkowski. As the series went on, he clearly hated it. He clearly just wanted it done.
What do you think? Who'll get the nod?
And of course his bitterness stems from when they approached him with the idea of turning it into a game series.
I do have a horse in the race.
As I thought. Well,
He didn't think the games would sell, so he asked for all his money up front instead of a lump sum payout. He could have still been getting paid to this day. And again, now with the new contract and shit, but that's because they wanted to do series trilogy of games and then the remake.
we're just in time.
You know, of course the show, but the show's even in there 5 seasons because we gotta talk about Yellow Jackets too. I'm so mad about that bullshit. I'm so mad. Another conversation for another day. But that ain't me coloring opinions, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna rock how y'all rock. It's Triss for me every time. I don't care what the canon say when Switcher Folk comes out. As long as you give me a series that's upfront bisexual, I can romance a woman with her. It's given the same care and attention that Judy and Female V in 77 is given, that Claire is given in 77, that the lesbian or gay or bi characters are given in 77. You give me that in The Witcher 4, cool, I'll get it. As long as it ain't $100, I'll get it. But we won't know for another 2 years. But yeah, I tried. I tried twice. And I'm just like, Sefkowski just ain't my dude. He ain't my cup of tea. Start reading straight shit in 2017. You know, because I'm like, I need to be better at this for as you know, what's understood ain't gotta be explained. Y'all know how I'm rocking. So as a member of the community, I need to be better at depicting this. I need to be better at writing this. I need to get insight on how to have complex women, layered characters and layered sexualities, and building these worlds and bringing them about and fleshing out these characters and fleshing out these dichotomies and different religions, and, you know. And I just don't get that. Save for the political aspect, I just don't get that. I'm just not giving that with the picture books. I'm just not giving it. And I tried. I really did. I tried. I'm just not giving that fairness. I'm not giving that that viewpoint. Again, some of the short stories shine, they really do. But the humor falls off. Dandelion is annoying as all get out. It just ain't it. But that's just a brief little stream, man. We're gonna really go in depth on it. Not that conversation, but the Yellow Jacket stuff, just shooting the shit. Next stream, it was just a brief little stream, just to touch base with y'all. And just let you know my thoughts and just talk about South Carolina and UConn. Because again, that was, oh my God. So y'all know the drill, man. Show love to the kid that did. Like I said, shop it around to your socials. Tell your peoples to tell your peoples, man. You know how we rocking. Come rock with a legend, man. Keep showing love. We slowly building the channel, man. We 3 from 15. I see y'all on the 15th with tape 2 of Lost Records Blooming Rage. Gotta get this 2 on Thursday. So I ain't gonna be up for nothing this weekend. But tape 2, Lost Records Blooming Rage on the 15th. Just keep showing love to the channel, man. Slowly but surely, we doing our thing. Yeah, I just wanted to touch base with y'all, man. I wished I could care more for the Witcher series of books, but I tell you, it's just too 90s fantasy. And again, Song of Ice and Fire is too, to be fair. And to old boy credit, at least he finished his series. You know what I'm saying? It ain't 12, 13 years later and you still waiting on the final book or final 2 books in the series. He did what George still ain't done yet. You know what I'm saying? But between the two, I gotta go and Song of Ice and Fire every day. Like there's some standouts. Like this being Polish fantasy, I can't give that as a plus, but it's because I'm not Polish. I can't give that as a plus. The characters are no character arcs you haven't seen before, but the writing's been around so long. No story's gonna be original. No story. The Sinners movie with Michael B. Jordan and Josh Allen's fine ass wife.
Control yourself, Druid. I haven't stolen anything.
5 from
borrowed something and fully intend to return it.
Archon, Ed Steinfeld. That's gonna be paint by the numbers vampire movie. You just got 2 black brothers in the lead. You know, that's really, you don't really see, you know, but straight, you know how it's gonna go. You kind of get the gist. But I just wish the Witcher Saga books meant more to me. I wish they left an impression on me like some of y'all, to where I'm like, yeah,
don't exaggerate.
I get it. Jennifer, this is who I want to rock with. But it just don't. But yeah, man, I'll hold y'all right there. I'm finna go get my food, though. Y'all, show love to the channel, man. Hit that follow.
The prospect that he would never again see his betrothed, Cerberus made the mask, which would allow him to peer into the past. He knew, however, that he could only use it once. So he waited. Waited until his longing grew so strong that it became unbearable. When the sea learned.
Well, I'll see y'all next stream, man. Hit that follow button. Show love to the kid that did. Support the channel. Shop it around to your Blue Skies, your Twitters, your TikToks. I'll see y'all next stream, man. Just keep showing love. Peace.